Hey, welcome to another episode of Getting Random with Z Singleton. Y'all missed it because earlier I was like, bop, bop. No, I really did.
Bah!
Bop. No, I really didn't do all that, but still. So today I got with me someone who basically told me he was going to be on my show today. When I met him, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I never had that ever happen to me, but I appreciate you for that. So his name is Jason Perkins, and you're basically known as the Pex Kid. Pex
Pay kid.
Pay Kid.
Yeah.
Pay what? You know what?
Do you okay?
Me look at you don't know the funny part about me is that I swear I could have as many high school degree, college degree, BA, MA, whatever, but I swear my whole pronunciation factor is horrible. But then when I want to be perfect is when I'm wrong.
There's no such thing as perfect, but it's kind of like I think when it comes to language,
Uh-huh.
especially like the French language,
Uh-huh.
if you hadn't made an effort to kind of know or assume,
Uh-huh.
it's just not gonna come naturally
And it's
all the time,
interesting because my family prior to me being born and like I think only one of my cousins, one of my family members in my age group decided to learn French.
Mm.
Our family all honestly knows French.
Oh, so they probably would be like, "Oh, pay kid, she's having pay kid on,"
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
probably understand,
All the way. All the way.
So you
Not I
probably
though.
no, now you know.
Now
This
I
is
know.
this is like a subtle like subconscious connection to French. Maybe this is like time
Right.
to go get Duolingo and
The more you know.
right, the little rainbow you know. But it means peace. Like le
Oh.
paix.
Uh-huh.
Except it's okay, I'm a truck driver. When I started trucking, my trainer over the road, we were in like Pennsylvania in a storm.
Uh-huh.
And he told me le paix, like paix is like what you say to little kids. Like but he's Haitian. I don't know if like Creole has got subtle differences, but he said it meant hush. So he
Right.
said my name really means hush kid.
Right.
So it's like you're saying
Okay.
hush kid, which is
Okay.
funny because it's like it's ironic,
He
It's
was
like
telling you hush kid, so did you talk a
no, he's saying that I'm
lot?
saying hush kid, like that's my name is
Right.
hush, like I'm
Hush.
telling
You're
kids to
telling hush kid.
yeah.
Got it.
But I think it's kind of the opposite.
But you gotta think about it. If you want people to hear you because you're a lyricist, you're gonna say, hush, hear me out. Now you can speak.
Not exactly. Not if they're singing with me. I wouldn't want them to do the opposite.
Right? Okay.
It's like if anything, especially with what I represent, I think it would need to inquire for kids to be loud. Like I like the idea of so even just using the term kid in music. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it as like because also kid is like a baby goat. So it's
Yes.
like it's almost like a humbling thing too. My name means a couple different. There's a lot of ways you can kind of take the clay and
Play
play
with
with it.
it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like I don't want to ever be the goat. I think being like a baby
Mm.
goat is like a humbling thing because I think also you kind of stay a baby forever. We just happen to expand, and it creates. I think growth creates ego, and I think the more you
Mm.
remember the child you are inside, it keeps the ego as a tool as opposed to your entire persona that you take in life.
Well, if you the goat, I think it. This is just my perception. Uh, you have a part of you that has pressure on you. And
Mm,
maybe you are still humble inside, but you always know that at the end of the day, you are accountable for the steps that you make
mm,
as a goat. You always have to go for what's the next thing that I'm going to do because guess what? I'm the goat. So guess what? Everybody's expecting it.
yeah,
And those are the responsibilities of a goat
yeah,
beside the fact that they already made all these accomplishments that got them the actual name.
yeah.
So, do you feel like you can actually be a goat, knowing just from what I just kind of brought up, and still be humble?
Yeah, if it's inquired by me, if it's inquired, if it's something that is required of me,
Uh
then yeah,
huh.
I'll do it. I think it more of like as far as me separating me from the artistic expression,
Uh huh.
I just will try to do my best to just solve problems. I look at problems and I'm like, to me, it's a problem isn't a bad thing. It's
Right.
just you just solve it. Like it's a new event. You
Mm-hmm.
do something with it. When
Okay.
you give a character to a problem, that's
Uh-huh.
not a problem anymore. If you give, I think I talk about this a lot. But if you call a problem a good thing, it's a blessing, right?
Right.
If you give problem a bad thing, that's chaos, or
Right.
it's like that's not a. You're just thinking about it. You're infatuating. You're thinking and
It's how you
using
name
your
it.
mind to expand it, but you're not doing anything about it. You're just putting it deeper in your thoughts, if anything.
Right. Right. I don't think a lot of people understand how much we create with our words and our mind.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah.
It's
Completely.
everything. Yeah, it's like how people say, you use your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your
Mm-hmm.
mindset, how you start something, and then how it ends. It's all about where your mind was the whole time, how you
Mind
feel.
over manner.
Yeah,
Matter. Not mind over
yeah.
manner. That manner is a whole nother thing. Matter.
Mind in matter, mind out of matter.
Yeah.
You know,
So let's bring it back because I know
mind
they
under
like
matter.
okay they done started having a whole conversation on something else,
Oh yeah,
and it
see,
just started with Paix Kids.
we just don't hang out enough, so we're gonna
La
talk about
Paix,
everything.
La Paix. So
La
here we
paix.
go. So you basically you grew up in a family full of artists. Mainly, this talk about it's your mom and your dad. So your dad was a drummer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he also, with being a drummer, he taught you what like jazz. What else?
Well, my dad he would take music, everything, any song that's on. He would come home with his keys and
Mm-hmm.
be jingling them to a certain pattern. He really liked a lot of like, um, my dad liked a lot of Brazilian fusion kind of stuff. So he kind of
Mm-hmm.
have like that beat, like
Mm-hmm.
a shuffling beat. A lot of that's just his natural energy that comes out of him.
Right.
But he plays a lot of a shuffle on drums. He's more of a jazz drummer, but he taught me more so how to isolate instruments. And he'd be
Mm.
like, "Son, listen to this saxophone part. Can you hear it?" Because he already. I don't ever remember learning instruments. I almost feel like I was born knowing all instruments,
That's
knowing
dope.
what they sound like if
Uh-huh.
someone tells me what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just DNA information. I think it was already at the front of my mind.
Yeah.
But then he would say, "Here, listen to this drum part," and he would play it over. Be like, "Did you hear the hi hats? Did you hear the flute here? This little part." That's just the kind of father and the type of dialogue we had was
Right.
mostly about music. That's
Mm-hmm.
just how
Mm-hmm.
we hung out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
So, and your mom,
Oh, she loves the Lord. She would play a lot of gospel music from between, like on the way to school, everywhere we went. You know, she would listen to other stuff, but like usually she just, we weren't allowed to listen to any secular music on Sundays.
mm,
We would listen to, she really just, a lot of different of the gospel artists. That's what but because of how my dad raised me,
mm-hmm.
when I was listening to gospel music, I'm just listening to all the amazing parts.
Instruments, yeah, but so basically, but you can listen to secular music 6 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead. And so I was reading an article that you did on with the magazine VoyageLa,
Hmm.
and they had brought up where you talked about like your uncle, and he had said your mom name is Kate Bush.
Oh, so he didn't say her name was.
Uh huh.
So he has in his room at my grandma's house.
Uh huh.
He lives in UK, but his room's still set up the way he likes. So when he comes,
Mm-hmm.
that still became like the integrated family home, like a hub that's trying to be like a hub for everybody that comes from different parts.
Uh huh.
And his room has like Shaka Khan, Tina Turner, like big posters.
Right.
Big
Right.
poster of I think it's Clouds. I forget which record. I love that record, Clouds, but I think it's a picture of her, of Shaka, Tina Turner, a big picture of my grandma,
Mm-hmm.
rest her soul, and then Ruby Pearl, and then Kate Bush. He has the biggest one as Kate Bush. And
Okay.
when I was little, I was like, "Oh, Uncle, who is this?" And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "'Cause my mom's a fair skinned woman."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "That's an old picture of your mom." And it's like a picture of Kate Bush with some dirt in her hands, like. And I was just like, "Oh, okay, just believe him."
Right.
So then,
Right.
as I became the musician I am, like as I started to age, and I
Mm-hmm.
would look whenever I go to my grandma's house because it would be like a Fourth of July block party,
Mm-hmm.
but it was too much energy, and I would just go into the house a lot, and I would just go and hang out, and I would snoop through his records, and I found Kate Bush's records.
Oh,
So
okay.
then I would I found her that way, and I was like, Uncle Frampy, you lied. Like that's not. This
That's
is
not
a
my mama.
whole other woman, like whole other woman, and I ended up falling in love with the music,
Can
and
I ask why uncles are like that? Uncles like to mess with us.
I'm like that.
Look, you like that?
I do it.
Did you get it from your uncle?
I didn't get it from that uncle, but I got it from being an uncle. You just gotta like. I think say like me as an uncle. I just kind of was like, I like to make my nieces and nephew kind of think for themselves. Like if they ask me, "Hey, what's that?" or if I try to show them something, I'm like, "What do you think about that?" I don't try to like put my um specific ideals on children. I'm just like, "Oh, what do you think?" I think I'd like to play with piquing their interest. So in a way, I almost feel like he knew I was gonna look because he knew I used to look through his stuff all the time anyway. I think he knew I was gonna find it, and I think because it's one of his favorite artists, he wanted me to find it, like do it like a treasure hunt kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, her music is like Baroque pop. It's if you ever heard, did you watch Stranger Things?
I did.
You know the song
that they played, and she had it in her earphones the whole time. That is Kate Bush. And what song made you fall in love with her?
The song that made me fall in love with Kate Bush, probably. So on the album The Dreaming, pull the pin.
Okay.
It's really broken down, and it has just like guitar, and her stuff has a lot of strings, and I just like strings. I like classical music, and then her singing a lot of times she gets really shrill and screaming like she's screaming like I love life, and at the end it's like I love life, I love life, I love life, I love life, and then it's like she's screaming that, but the whole song is actually about being a soldier, and it's like just one thing, me or him, and I love life. So it's like, do I kill? Do I kill him or do I let him kill me? And I love life. He's life. So if I kill him, I hate life. We are all life. It's like a very deep idea, but it's like pull the pin is like a grenade. So it's like that whole imagery when she's screaming that, it's like pull. It's like the inside, like pull the pin. Like you want to survive. Your life is telling you gotta live, but I think it's just kind of like those type of emotional, and you're creating you're taking someone completely elsewhere just by closing your eyes and listening to the music.
Right. And that was what I was actually going to ask you next. So like that's a really beautiful description and clear. Like you understand it. It's like, whoa, I wouldn't have got that. So did you read it, or was it just the fact that you actually were listening to the song and you understood that that's where she was going with it?
Definitely listening, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely just listening, and like, did she just do that? Like, did she just say this? I kind of say like, if I think of music's like the ocean. It's kind of like you go to like Caribbean, you go to like Long Beach, go to Santa Monica, Hawaii. You can think of the ocean in like a lot of different ways.
Right.
And it's like you can just be like, oh, I'm having a nice little cocktail on the beach if I get to, depending on what kind of lifestyle I get to permit and what I've reached for, what is falling on my lap, whatever I have. And it's like you're looking at the ocean probably like face value, and it's just a beautiful. You hear it breathe. It's just like, and it's like you can do it like that. You could think about if you go closer, there's like little hermit crabs and turtles trying to go home, and there's more. There's so much going on. You go deeper, there's literal hunting, there's literal killing, it's poison. You go lower, it's like there is artifacts that people don't know. The music's like that. It's telling 30 different things at once and more.
And it's all on how willing to go that deep.
Yeah.
Because that's really deep when you're like, oh, this is the setting, this is what you hear. But then when you start to go under and you say, okay, this is what's playing, this is what's being said. No, really listen to what's being said.
Yeah.
And I think what I like about music is sometimes I feel that artists, writers really like, yes, they give their interpretation of what the song means, but they also allow you to go into your heart and also get the same interpretation.
Yeah.
So, being that, we still haven't said what it is that you do, other than the fact that you mentioned that you're a trucker.
Sorry, I talk a lot. I make music, so I make.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about me. I don't really see that.
Let
That's just
let's
it.
talk about it's about well we've been talking about you kinda because we brought up your dad
Yeah.
and where you got that from your uncle. We talked about your mom, and
Okay.
so like those are things that created your character, right?
Yeah,
That's what helped
absolutely.
create your created
Created my
your
character.
character.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't know why that had to be so hard, but it was for
Got it.
today. So let's even go back where like basic instruments.
Yeah.
You started playing the trumpet when you were in elementary school.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
play. I can read music, so I can play
uh-huh.
guitar, drums, piano. Not as good as my friends.
But you
Drums.
good.
I could play. I could
Mm-hmm.
if I hear something, I could start playing. But also, I can read music. If I hear a song, I can write it out, given the key given. If I have another instrument around, like tuned in the standard key,
Mm-hmm.
I can
Mm-hmm.
go based on that and write it out. If need be, or just for fun or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I can I just I know music. I do it because, and then even just different genres. You know, I've been a part of hip hop forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think if you're a fan of hip hop, it's your responsibility to keep it alive. When
Right.
people when
Okay.
if you say hip hop is dead and you're doing hip hop, you're
Uh-huh.
proof that it is alive. So I almost feel like it's like a
Mm.
discourse. Like it's almost like when say like a rapper says hip hop is dead. Like say like
Right. Nas in his
yeah,
song,
like
yes.
Nas. It's
Yeah.
like it's proof that you don't have to resurrect it. It's this is it's not so I feel like I almost think of when people say dead, they think of like when you hit tires or like it's like a flat,
Right. They're
you know.
done. You gotta
It's
get
like
rid of it. Yeah.
you need to lift it. It's like he's calling for us to lift it back up because he can't
Right.
do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that kind of thing. So yeah, hip hop, R&B, of course. I sing as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was singing at the
Okay.
show.
Look, remember when I said so? I basically met him at an event in LA one night, and he shared with me, and I don't think I said this when we started, but we were just talking on the side.
Mhm.
He said to me like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna be on your show," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and my whole face was like, I ain't never heard anybody ever tell me what they're gonna do. Like I usually have to be the person who asks, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure." No, not you. Like you let me know. Like okay, when I come on your show, this is what's gonna happen, and it's like okay, I respect it. Okay, I appreciate you. So I didn't catch the part where you actually were like singing. I remember hearing you rap,
Mm,
and I was kind of just trying to check out everything. So I kind of passed. I stood there for a little while, took a video of you, and then I remember walking out.
mhm.
So I didn't catch your whole performance, and I apologize. Now,
Don't you were a part of the experience just as much as I was. I'm not.
right, right. But now I'm like, oh, I missed something that would have been really important to well, privy to see. You know?
Yeah, there'll be more. I don't have anything lined up, but you'll know when I'm playing next.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
I
you'll hit.
think
I know you'll hit me up, right? Or
yeah,
and you'll put it on your page,
yeah, and I think when you had told me about the podcast, it was
right?
more like yeah, if all you could have said was no, and I'll be like okay, you know,
Yeah,
like yeah, I'm gonna be on it. It's like you could have if you would have said nah, it's cool. I'd be like all right, then we keep pushing. But I think it's fun. Like I think the idea of networking, it's
right,
just fun.
and just
It's
meeting
not
different,
that
yeah,
deep, you know.
meeting different people, and that's what getting random is about.
Yeah,
It's just not like oh, there's a random section, but it's like okay, there are different people in this world who are going through different things. There, something are going doing the same thing, but maybe going through it a different way.
yeah,
And the hope is that always that we, you're gonna learn something, you're gonna be inspired by something, or you're just gonna enjoy what you hear.
yeah.
And that comes from whether you so we were talking about off camera, we were talking about what our generations are.
Yeah.
So we're different, you and I are two different generations.
Hmm.
And I think I love what you did also in your interview, as you said, I'm about bringing generations together and not being apart and thinking, oh, we're better than or this and that. And that, to me, that is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to bring Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, what we bring it, everybody together, because at the end of the day, we all, there's only so many ideals you can have before they start to jump on top of each other and make people be like, oh, I had the idea. No, you didn't. That happened back in like 30 years, 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
It's just that you weren't born yet.
But here it is. See, it's information. Like I was saying,
Right,
all the
right,
info is in us. Maybe like your great grandfather
right.
liked something, or it was a calling, and it was like a fire burning in them that they never acted on. But then,
Mm-hmm.
they made love or just had some fun and started a family, started a progeny,
Mm-hmm.
and that information's in you, and it's been burning in you, and it's like, oh, it comes out of me, and it's like I started this, but then you look back, your grandfather was trying to do that, or it was on their
Yeah.
radar, it was on
Right.
their radar. So I think it's just so much that like there's so much we think about as people, and we forget that the idea of how we function as people, the
Mm-hmm.
need to be better, the need to start something, none of that matters. It's
Right.
all We're all connected.
Right.
However
All
you
day.
believe, you can believe that it's a spiritual thing, you can believe that it's a historical thing,
Mm-hmm.
or just patterns in humans.
Right.
It don't matter. It's like we're all just connected. Sorry, my locks are gonna come out. I'm
Oh,
getting excited.
let them free.
Nah, I like to keep them I like to put them away.
Right.
Because I think it's just like, I don't want to get stuff. Even though we're like in a comfortable environment, there's
Right.
not like things in the air, but I just like to have the practice of putting them away. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
like a.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not like it's a hairstyle, but it's
Mm-hmm.
more like just a part of me.
Yes. We could talk about locks, but I want to follow up because I think, like you speaking on, like at the end of the day, like it's a part of you. I think that because we can go even biblical
Hmm.
on that. Was
Oh
it
yeah, like uh,
Solomon? Was it Solomon? I,
no, not Solomon. It's funny that I knew you were gonna say Solomon, but you mean Solomon. Wait, is there two Solomons? Samson.
Samson. Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's a
Voice
S
in
in the
the
ether.
in yes,
Thank you. Yeah,
Samson.
because Samson
Yeah.
and Samson and Delilah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Samson and Delilah, and just the import, just how it goes biblical in the sense of locks and everything.
Hmm.
But I want to go back, and I just want to go where we were talking about just the whole generation thing and the overlaps,
Hmm.
and I was reading something where they're like, oh, and this is just simple to give an example to people. They're like, oh, leggings are out in 2024. We're doing yoga pants, and I was like, yo, people was doing yoga pants back in like 2000. Like yoga pants was in already, or like was it the 90s? I'm not sure. I really can't fact check that one right now.
Hmm.
But how are we going back? Like it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
But the way people say things is almost like, oh, this is new, and we're gonna add a split to it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're gonna flare it. And I'm like, do you know how many people still have flared yoga pants existing? Come on,
Yeah.
y'all. So let's. Sometimes I feel like we just need to respect the past, even
Mm.
though we're doing it in the future.
I think also, a big part of things is just the way social media. Like social media doesn't even let you be political. Like all the missing and dying children, all
Right.
the things that are happening,
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff people don't have the energy to talk about, which
Right.
is okay because it takes energy to be an activist. You have to enjoy your life to give life. So I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
like as much as I'd love to say I'm an activist, right?
Right.
I feel like no, I don't do enough, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to have enough to give. It's like you have to have a
Yes, you have to make sure
you have to do both. It's like to be able to give
this has to be full. I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying in a sense, like your cup has to be full. Like
yeah,
being an
you can't give out of
activist,
an empty cup.
that to be an activist, I feel you have to be up here because it can get you get to the point of being here. How can you help others?
Yeah.
How can you give to others?
Yeah, and the thing is though, like I have a lot of friends that are giving their all, like
Mm-hmm,
even to the
mm-hmm,
point of damn near homelessness, which like my heart goes out to them forever because they are pushing past, making sure people are informed, using that Neptunian like social media. Like we're gonna use social media to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and
Right.
be a servient of knowledge for the people that aren't seeking it. And
Mm-hmm.
like if you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna follow me, you know that I have these type of things going on. But it's like you gotta, like we said, I talking about this because I care about it kind of makes me forget what I was gonna say about this. I'm going on a tangent, but it's an important one because it's like, yeah, it very much goes back to, you have to have. It's like you have to be able to enjoy your life at a base level. You got to be able to love your life,
Right.
and then you can give.
You can give
So when
100.
when I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
and people are just like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough to say enough of what's going on. It's kind of like, well, that's fine. You're living. Life is
Right.
wild for everybody all the time.
And who's to say at the end of the day that you're not giving enough? You got to think about, and if you're gonna give, you give without thinking about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
But you have to think too that like there's a lot of people giving, and there's a lot of people who are not giving
Yeah.
at all.
Hmm.
So that little bit that you feel that you're giving is, believe me, it's appreciated.
Yeah. It's something.
It's something compared to some who don't give nothing and feel like, oh, you should be able to come up. Like if I
Yeah.
can come up, you can come up. And
Right.
and that sometimes is not the energy of everybody. So I
Hmm.
agree with you on energy. I want to go back to your locks.
Oh yeah, we're talking about. Because what did I even? How did we even get here?
You want to know how we got here? It's because your hat keeps kind of like
Oh yeah.
like your locks keep wanting to come out and free themselves and be a part of this moment. That's why.
Yeah.
So why don't you want to show your locks?
Well, it's like I'll show them. I just am like, I think I just
Preserve.
I wanna get in the practice of keeping them, because they come out. Like, I think it's just like I don't want to make, because I know a lot of people have locks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't want to make it about, even though it's happening anyway, but I don't want to make it about the locks. Like I want it to just be about the information that has been stored in the history of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather it be about like just them happening, like the time, the story, than the actual hairstyle or the beauty about it. My
Right.
locks are
Well,
like,
but what is the story? Because maybe like there are individuals who don't know the story, and I feel like sometimes that people get into fads or like
mm,
make things like, oh well, I see everybody else getting them, so that's the thing to do now. And it's like, no, it's a locks are a deeper thing. Like I brought up the fact that the biblical part of
yeah.
it. So for you, what do you feel the story is?
Okay, so it can kind of be a lot of things. So it's believed that like there's energy in hair. There's like energy.
Mm-hmm.
So then even just keeping all of that energy, even though, so I used to, because if you could see, I have hair underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Like you saw before the hip. I don't know how I
Yes,
look. I don't even know how I look right now.
oh, they were down.
It's like my
I've
hair
seen your
was,
locks. Yes.
yeah, my hair on the side, because I used to shave the sides of my hair like a mohawk lock kind
Mm-hmm.
of deal,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started growing it back, and then I'll let them grow and like let them lock.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like I know it looks kind of wild to have a fro and locks at the same time, so I think it's just kind of like I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to do anything about it, so I just put it away. But then
Okay.
also there's that. There's a couple things. So if we go there, that's like the personal,
Uh-huh.
inspiring reason why I just put it away.
Okay.
Because then, there's that. But then there's also, I, I don't want to. So me and Locks was like, it was always against my family. Like my family on both sides they don't believe in, alternative exotic hairstyles. You need to look like you want to be a part of society. You need to look like, an
Like
outstanding
everybody else.
man,
Mm-hmm.
like a clean cut man,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day, my parents. Luckily, I have both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll, even though they don't get along, they agree on a lot of things.
Right.
But it's kind of like, say, like when I first tried to do it, they were like, no, they was like the first thing they ever agreed on was arguing to
And they
me
were
not
like,
having them.
oh, you don't like it? No, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to me, I think it's more important to represent different cultural background things that happen naturally for us.
Mm-hmm.
To say like this is us. Like, we are upright in society.
Mm-hmm.
We can be great and look like Basquiat,
Mm-hmm.
we can do great and look like Lauryn Hill when she first had her big old lock
Yeah.
head, and
She's
I think
gorgeous.
I think and then say like it's just to me it's just a thing where no, I don't have a problem with other people having locks. I don't care if like Latinos, even white people have locks,
Mm-hmm.
but I know what it means when I do.
Right.
I don't care. Like I'm not gonna fight you because you are inspired by something that I carry.
Right.
Because a lot of the friends that I know that want to have locks or have them that aren't black,
Mm-hmm.
they're inspired by how we look with them a lot of times. Or
Mm.
say it's either that or they have like they're interested in like their because I know there's like Norwegian, there's like Viking locks and stuff.
Right.
But it's
Yes.
like
It's not. It's not what.
yeah, it's like whatever people do what they do,
Mm-hmm.
I know why I do it. I like to represent what I represent. I carry the way I look and what it's meant and like even like Rastas. I'm not really much of a like Jamaican like a reggae listening person. I love
Mm-hmm.
reggae. I listen to reggae all the time.
Right.
But it wasn't like I don't smoke weed. I don't
Mm-hmm.
live a Rasta lifestyle, but I love why they have them. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like a crown. It's a part of you. It's like an antenna. It's like a spiritual. It's a connection, and you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
That's I feel it.
Right. So you don't feel. Like I heard you when you basically said, I don't care if other cultures have them.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you don't think of like cultural appropriation like others do.
Well, I do, and I think
Okay.
it's harmful, but I'm not gonna fight somebody over it just because. I think it's like I think of course I'll be a voice and like tell people make sure you know where you're getting your info, make sure you know because then maybe they won't even do it if they have some respect for people, but
Mm-hmm.
it already says a lot about their character. I'm
Right.
not going to be the one that starts a fight. There's so many things like that is going on in life
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
it's like just the fact that people drive in bumper to bumper traffic
Mm-hmm.
to not go talk about what's going on in the world. They'd
Mm-hmm.
rather just be stuck in traffic on their way to go talk to some girl or cheat or get some
Oh.
money or
Oh
it's
wow.
like there's things in life where it's like I had to kind of let things go because it's like why would I fight? It's like kind of when you want to be a health activist,
Mm-hmm.
be like you need to eat more veggies, but like alcohol literally is toxic, you
Right.
know. And
Right.
I'm a gin drinker, so that's crazy.
Right.
Um, so when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, it's not ever to me. It's like trying to find a new way to communicate what you wish for people. That's
Mm-hmm.
not just projecting an ideal that you think is right,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always going to be a side, and you have to keep your roots in, stay
Mm-hmm.
10 toes down
Right.
for what you're doing for your side. But it's like,
Well, I
why
have
is there sides?
right. I have a question for you as you talk. So, would you say that's what your lyrics really focus on?
I think my lyrics more so focus on right now. I like to sing the hard conversations.
Okay.
So there is a touch of that.
Okay.
There's a touch of so even like Pay Kid, it's not so much as like a peace kid, like a kid that carries peace, but it's also I want to give peace to my inner child.
Right.
So it's also like Pay Kid, like peace for that kid. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then there's that. There's I think lyrically it's because then I have a I have a lyric that I say like you know what cosplay is, where you dress up in different characters and stuff.
Okay.
I have a lyric where I say, "Are you an activist or are you cosplaying?"
Mm.
But I'm one to talk. I'm no help. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of put it on myself. Like I
Right. Where
don't
are
do
you
as
at?
much
Mm-hmm.
as I could be doing. But
Mm-hmm.
I say that because if somebody's singing that, they're singing that for them. They're singing that because they're singing it. And if they agree with it, it's just a reminder to give yourself some grace. Yeah, we could all do more, but we're
Mm-hmm.
living. It could be harder.
Right.
You wanna donate, but like your homie's homeless right now. The little
Mm-hmm.
$15 that you could give to like cancer needs to go to the homie and her daughter or
Mm-hmm.
something, or it's like we're all just we're doing what we're doing. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what my music is about. It's just to really connect everybody
Mm-hmm.
and keep our minds also like it's like the Hey Ya Andre 3000 effect, where it's like it's a
Right.
sad song, but everybody dances to Hey Ya when they hear it.
Right.
It's like my music is the goal is to kind of it's whatever you're feeling it can apply. Even though
Okay.
my music is very experimental, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a direct like sound style.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just whatever I want, you know.
Right. And how many albums have you put out so far?
Technically, in my opinion, none.
None.
No albums, because I mean, I put out a beat tape. I put out a beat tape in 2022 on my phone while I was trucking.
Okay.
Even though it's like 10 tracks, people would call it an album.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't call that album
You know why?
because it's a beat tape. It's
But
just
I
beats.
mean, like, would you put it on like Spotify, or
It's
have
all,
you put it on Spotify?
it's all out. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
everything. Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp. I didn't put that on Bandcamp, but I need to. But I have that. I have my 2020
Mm-hmm.
Color Mill 3. That's a beat tape. I
Okay.
have a couple EPs, maybe like 3 or 4. Then I have a ton of singles now this year and into next year and maybe whenever, because I'm not doing a direct like time frame for when it comes out, but I'm releasing. I have a project that I'm working on and putting out with all of my friends, whoever can be a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
called 78, and it's a very how it's people that'll hear it. I don't want to like spill the beans on what it means,
Right. Right.
but if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 78 songs, so it's comprised of
That's a lot of songs
yeah.
on one album.
Well, it's 4 EPs,
Right.
and then a double album, 2 albums,
Okay. Okay.
then 4 albums with my best friend Ashton.
Okay.
So I will say the collection of albums that come out of 78 will be my first albums in my catalog, in my opinion. But
So
people will say otherwise.
so we could look forward to that in 2025. Is what
You
you're saying?
look forward to it in 2024.
2024.
Oh, I have an album, but it's a collaborative album. So I'm like, I have an album called Amboy with my homie Safe. That's an album, and then I had a couple other projects, but that's like not a Paix Kid album. We're talking about Paix Kid, so I'm thinking
Right.
Paix Kid, you know.
Right. I'm just talking about any album that you have
Oh
been
yeah,
like you collaborated on. I get it because it's not. You're saying it's not your album and everything, but still you've been a part.
yeah.
Okay, that's what's
You
up.
start to realize my thoughts are kind of like I'm always thinking about music, so it takes me a second to kind of reel in to the reality of things.
Right. Well, speaking of that, just because you think in music, so I remember one time I was actually watching. I believe it was for real. I think it was
Mhm.
for real, and he was like, "I see music or beats in color. How do you see music?"
Oh yeah, synesthesia. We can talk about that. So
How
I
do you see it though?
so music. So because I kind of have synesthesia in a weird way. I
Uh-huh.
kind of so to kind of explain.
I was gonna say, can you explain what sense?
Synesthesia is when your senses are like you'll see sounds, taste colors,
Uh-huh.
hear colors, hear flavors.
Right.
It's just a myriad of even there. I think it goes into emotion and numbers for people. You know, it's a big thing. I feel like people don't talk about it a lot.
Right.
It should be studied more.
And it sounds
honestly.
like people should, because I think it's dope, actually.
It can be depends on who you are and what it is.
Uh-huh.
So with me, so when I realized that it was synesthesia, remembering a memory. I had a memory from when I was little. I was in the car with my dad. We were in a little shopping center,
Mhm.
and there was a Ralph's commercial, and there was I guess it was like some jazz fusion piano playing,
Mhm.
and I was like, Dad, these piano parts they taste like fruit.
Mm.
I could taste the music. I was like, this tastes like strawberry. And he was like, son, that's silly. And he laughed, thinking that I was being silly.
Mhm.
But I was trying to relate. So then I just kind of put that away for the rest of my, till I learned about synesthesia and studied. And
How long was that? Did you put it
I was
away
a,
for?
I was a little kid. I was probably like maybe 6 or 7,
Right.
maybe 8.
But when did you finally be like, okay, no, this is really who I am, like synesthesia?
Well, I
How old were
mean,
you?
I think I think I learned about what synesthesia was like in college.
Okay.
I think I was taking psychology and people were talking about it or something.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. It's like people talking about people, learning about people. You want to talk about the things you know about people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I know I think I maybe have learned it in college. No, I don't think before college, and definitely not after. So it would have been like 2010, 2011, probably.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I do that. Like people's voices say, like some people's voices will taste like metal. I know
Mm.
that's weird, but it's a whole thing. Like I don't even.
I don't find anything weird. I do find some things weird, but I feel like everybody's different, and there's
Yeah.
just so many things out there of how people learn and how people feel things that you got to respect it because we're different. We're all different, and
Uh,
we're all the same at the same time.
yeah.
So to me, that when he said that, I was like, "Whoa, that is so cool."
Yeah.
Because all I can do is literally if I listen to a song, I'm just quiet
Yeah.
and I'm literally hearing, like I feel like I picture fingers
Huh.
going on
The
like the
instruments.
instruments, and
Oh
that's
wow.
how I hear like what that is, or like I'll see the tap, or
Did you play instruments?
I didn't.
Interesting. You know any? Did you have people around you that played?
No,
You just feel it in your hands.
that's just kind of what, like, yeah, I'll, and sometimes I'll start tapping in the process, or like, yeah, to
You
the
need to get an
beat.
instrument.
I used to want to play like drums and everything. So when I hear you say like your dad was like, "Oh, that's silly," and you just swallowed it down, that's why I asked you, when did you allow it to regurgitate?
But let me tell you, because I always have done music. I don't. So that's just the Pharrell connection.
Right,
Like the
right,
synesthesia, I'm like, that's something I experienced. I don't
yeah,
really. It's
because you
not
did
my
the track,
favorite thing. But as
yeah,
far as my thing with music,
right.
me and music, it's a full embodying, encompassing thing for me. It's
You've been doing it forever, right?
I hear songs. I'm hearing music in my head now. I
Mm-hmm.
always hear music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just emotional. So I almost feel like it kind of tended to my emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to believe I have a pretty good level of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least it's something that it's a pursuit I work on, right? But
Right.
I think it's also just something that's innate because I was always thinking of music emotionally, even like knowing, say, like listening to like even an Outcast song, and they're talking about something from situations that have happened with people. It's like breaking it down, and it's kind of like feeling it, like trying to feel what the artist feels. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
when I'm making stuff, it's like, what do I want people to feel from this? Are they feeling this? And then sometimes I'll rewrite a song like 7 times because I'm like, this isn't what I feel from this. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm like, I don't want people to know what this music makes me feel like, so I'm gonna write something over it to
Right.
kind of tuck it away. But then a lot of times, because of hip hop, I'll reuse it and then
Mm-hmm.
sample it. So I sample my own music a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sample a song that I tucked away when I'm ready to dig it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then express that emotion that it's meant to. So
Right.
it's like a little bank, you know. But it's
So
like it's a. I almost feel like, or what were you saying? I mean to cut you off.
no, no, no. You were still talking. Uh, but I was going to say, just being that you've always done music,
Mm-hmm.
making like you said, you're about to make the 78
Mm-hmm.
song album. Well, more, it's more than one album, and just being in just the industry. What do you feel is your struggle with it? Like, what's your biggest struggle?
My biggest struggle is, because the making it isn't a struggle. The struggle is being willing to sacrifice that I don't have a desire to enter the game with it. And that's where people profit off of music. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to enter the game.
Okay.
I would only want to, the only part of the game I'd ever want to enter is, say, like scoring music for video games, for shows, movies,
Right. Right.
to just color the stuff that's present, color the experience, to be color the entertainment
Mm-hmm.
industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want, like, my face, the music, the package of Paix Kids, the business I am, because I can, sure, I can start making music that I know people will like, and just
Mm-hmm.
change the whole thing and change the whole persona, make it about me, make it about, this is what you want, like, you want me kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the struggle is, like, I'm a trucker, I have debt, I have people to take care of,
There's still
and
stuff happening.
I have to have a practical foot while I have fan a fanciful foot. Is
Right.
that the right, fanciful, or a dream? I got a foot on the ground and a foot in my dream, so I'm just doing the splits,
Right.
like
So what
to the sky, like.
what would you share? Because we're getting closer to wrapping up and
That's
everything.
okay.
This went quick.
Yeah,
So,
we're hanging out.
what would you give as an advice to your younger self or to younger generations?
Don't do music unless you need to. Don't do music unless. Don't do it. Don't do music.
I'm so sorry.
But if you do it anyway, then you know you're supposed to. If you do it, even though you hear me say don't do it, then you're supposed to. And don't stop. But just remember, all that you're gaining, all the experience, you apply all of your work ethic from any little McDonald's, Taco Bell, where you know your manager just graduated high school and they're not teaching you nothing about management. Take all of your experience, apply all your work ethic to everything you do, and put it right into that music. And
That's
keep
real.
moving. Keep moving. Because it's going to be it will require stamina. And it will try to devour you, literally. Like a 3-course meal. That's what I'd have to say to the kids.
I appreciate you.
But have fun. After all that, fun is the most important part.
So, okay. So we at the part. You guys, excuse me. We're at the part where we do a random. So I think we have a couple more minutes where we could really do this real quick, and then I got a question after that. It just everything's going fast.
Okay.
So we go ahead. This is the random jar. This is my game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time I'm bringing a game.
Next time you bring the game, but we still gonna probably do this game too.
Okay.
After. So here we go. You pull out of here. I hope orange. Okay, let's go. Let's go. What that orange look like?
What that orange do? Oh, it's green inside. I love that actually. What is something from the era / generation by you that you would ride for no matter what?
Yes.
What's something from my era?
What's something not from your era, which I don't know why it says it like that.
Something not from my era.
Something that is not from your era, but the generations prior to you, the eras and the generations before you, that you would be like, man, I'm this generation, but I would still ride for whatever they did in those generations.
Woodstock. I'm from the Woodstock era. I should have been front row seeing Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock.
Man, yo.
That's me. That's like, because even say like festivals aren't the same. I don't like festivals because people don't dance.
Coachella, you don't like Coachella?
People don't dance at festivals.
They don't dance at Coachella? I haven't been to Coachella, so I don't know.
They do this.
See, look it was like, yo, you said something that made me be like, I gotta come out. No, can I be honest with you? No, I go to concerts, and I mean, I do it, but I'm like, put it down. Yeah. Like, I get it, have that moment, but how many times do you keep what you're sitting there putting
spending
on
all that time? You don't even actually put it out.
Do you put it out? Do you keep it? No, because you go to the next phone.
Yeah.
So enjoy, be in that moment. Like, you literally pay. We can go as low as $5 and up to $1,000 for a show, or plus for a show. Like, enjoy it. Be in that moment.
Right.
Be in that present. Take a snap, cheek, and then be done.
Right.
And just be like, hey, I agree with you. People are not in the moment.
No, that's it. People don't. It's like, I'd rather just joke and high five and talk to people and just have fun. And see, the last festival I had fun like that was like 2015. I feel like people are doing more and more to run away from connecting to people. They want to, I'll bring women on dates and they're holding, no offense to anybody that I've gone to shows with that are just holding phones, but anybody that knows me deeply knows I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to laugh. I just want to dance. All I want to do. Where else do you have time to dance? If you're not going to a class or something.
In your house. House by yourself. Turn on the music, that favorite song of yours, and just release.
Right, but say like I work like 12 to 14 hours a day, right?
In your car, in the truck.
I do.
Turn it up and just be like, and you may look like something's wrong with you, but you
Right.
know what? You are in that moment being free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to me, a show is where I want to dance.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So it's kind of
I feel
like,
you.
I feel like in that era, maybe
Mm-hmm.
because there's just more people in the world now. So everybody just compact in these big festivals. But it's like, I like to go dance. I'm going to go dance. I like
Mm-hmm.
to let
Mm-hmm.
my soul be free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really why I still play shows, because I would realize, oh, I'll just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go dance, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I play still, you know.
Right. What brought you, since you said that, what brought you to being a lyricist? I know that at the end of the day, yes, you have done music all your life,
Yeah.
but to say because people sing to a lot, but they end up going and doing other things,
Mm-hmm.
despite the fact that they may have a beautiful voice,
Mm-hmm.
or they're capable of being creatively right.
Yeah.
But they just or they go and they can play the drums, but they're like, oh, I just play for the church.
Yeah.
What made you say I want to do this out loud, way out loud, like because at the end of the day you're still doing out loud in certain things, but
Because I need to. I think it's like it would be a disservice. I feel like it's called in me
yeah.
from
Mm-hmm.
deep,
Mm-hmm.
deep inside to just say things I feel like people aren't saying and talking about enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's in my stomach, like I could feel it. The more I don't do that, the more it breaks me down. It's like if I know that I told people I loved them in a day,
Mm-hmm.
I know that someone told them that someone loved them that day,
Right.
and just that reason alone. If I told people, I hope everyone's okay,
Mm-hmm.
that show, I know at least someone checked up and tapped in on them for that one period, and just something in me in my heart always wants to be a part of that, even
Mm-hmm.
for those little moments,
Right.
because though we have stuff and we look at stuff face value and we push it past, we're not thinking about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be in the back of your head. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
at least that happened. I think it's just, and I've always done it. I think it would be a disservice to the life I live, singing, playing Pokemon on my Game Boy,
Mm-hmm.
and singing to the music, making up lyrics about the story, writing with my best friend while we play pretend.
Mm-hmm.
He became a book writer, and I became a lyricist.
Right.
It was just always me. I think that's just a part of the same roots that grew the tree I am today.
That's what's up. And so, what is my last question?
Okay.
What is your self care?
My self care.
Your self care.
Well, you gotta get your sleep. You gotta shower. You gotta
What's your self care?
me. I'm saying that's the stuff I do. Like
Okay.
I keep my hygiene good
Mm-hmm.
every day. Oh, okay. So I did have some health issues, and I kind of fixed my diet. So I don't. I'm very conscious of when I'm eating sugars and carbs.
Mm-hmm.
I usually start my day off with more sugars and carbs. I eat a oatmeal. So I'll tell you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I make oatmeal, the Bob's mill, red mill or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then I take turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, and nutmeg with water. I put peanut butter, the natural kind. And while it's heating up, I do planks and push-ups,
Okay.
and then I do squat walks while it's cooking and let it
Okay.
sit. And I do that every morning. And then
a routine. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, having a routine. That's my routine. So that's
All
my self care.
right. You're Chef Paix Kid and
Chef Paix Kids.
Chef Paix Kid and trainer.com Paix Kid. There we go. That's what's
Yeah.
up. What else do you do? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Uh, since I just like to check on my loved ones, just whenever somebody falls into my, because otherwise I'll stress about people, because a lot of my people got problems.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have serenity for yourself and others.
Yes.
Accept what you can't change what you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just, if somebody falls into my mind, I just hit them up. You're on my heart. Then just trying to spend time managing my mental space, because you only have so much. You can only
Yes.
think about so much.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are the things I consciously do throughout my walk of life, my morning ritual, breakfast. I really just like to talk about that breakfast, actually. So I'm glad you asked.
You broke it down, so I think now people could be like, "Oh, okay, let me try it that way." So
That
you
saved my life. That changed.
Oh.
I had like blood clots and heart disease, and
Oh, wow.
I was taking meds I couldn't take them because of some conflict with some insurance, and then I just stopped worrying about it because I didn't want to pay $500 to live. And then I started eating that every day. And I'll have like a glass of red wine sometimes if I travel, and garlic in my food when I travel. I'm good.
Man, so that's a whole nother conversation because I remember I was sent like a little clip where it talks about how red wine, the person was saying red wine doesn't do anything for you. But to hear you say like, no, that helps, and then I add garlic, and then I have that. That's a again, that's a whole nother conversation,
Yeah.
and we gotta wrap it up
Yeah.
now. And I want to appreciate. I want to appreciate you. I do appreciate you
I appreciate you.
for coming here today and being with me and just talking. And I felt like we were really random, but somehow we brought it back each time to
Yeah.
where we needed to. Again, y'all, this is Paix Kid. Thank you again. Thank you for watching. Of course, always subscribe. Oh, hold on. Where can they find you?
Google search Paix Kid. Just Google search Paix Kid. PAIXKID. And you can hear my music streaming on all streaming platforms.
Okay. And can they find you on IG?
Mm-hmm.
Under Paix Kid.
That's right.
You are correct. All right. So again, thank you for watching, and you can subscribe, hit that little button to know when we're streaming again. Always Friday at 12 p.m. All right. And give yourself love, starting first, always. And if you got enough, give it to somebody else. Till next time, stay random. Bye.